a spinach, feta, and parm casserole. Una fritada de espinaca con feta y parmesano. It is absolutely delicious. It's a recipe that my grandmothers used to make, and the best part, it takes 4 ingredients. Sally, that girl, in the kitchen. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sally, that girl, in the kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make a spinach, feta, and parm casserole. Una fritada de espinaca, feta y parmesano. So if you've watched my channel before, you may know that I make another delicious fritada, but that fritada has cheddar and parm. But this fritada is a little bit different. This one is made with feta cheese and parm. It's much more typical. It's more the way my Sephardic Turkish grandparents would have made it. And I combine the feta with a little parm, and it just makes the perfect combination. It's absolutely delicious, and it goes great with everything. This is perfect for a brunch, a lunch, or even a dairy dinner. It's absolutely yummy and so easy to make. So I am super excited to teach you how to make it. So let's not wait another second, and let's get started. For today's recipe, you will need 2 pounds of frozen spinach thawed, 1 pound of feta cheese, 12 ounces of shredded Parmesan cheese, and 8 large eggs. You will also need a medium-sized bowl for your cheeses, a large bowl, and either a serving fork or a serving spoon for your spinach and for mixing all of the ingredients. You'll need a medium-sized bowl and a fork to beat your eggs, and you'll need some oven mitts, and of course you'll need a standard 9x13 baking dish. I also recommend you use some non-stick cooking spray. So now that we have all of our ingredients and tools together, let's get started. So what I like to do is the night before I'm going to prepare my fritada, I pull my spinach out of the freezer and I just place it right there in its bags in my sink, and I let it slowly thaw overnight. But of course you can use your preferred method of thawing. So now it's the next morning. So the first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees, making sure you have a rack placed in the center. Now next we're going to move on to squeezing out our spinach. It's already thawed because I pulled it out last night and left it in my sink overnight, but I'm going to squeeze it out bunch by bunch because I want it perfectly dry. So what do I mean by squeezing it out bunch by bunch? I'm just going to grab a bunch like this in my hands, and then I'm going to squeeze it real hard because I want all of that liquid out. You see how much liquid comes out of the frozen spinach? It is very convenient though to use frozen spinach. It's already weighed out, so you know exactly how much you're getting. And you do want 2 full pounds, 32 ounces. So all you're gonna do is just take each bunch, squeeze it a whole bunch of times. I know that's a lot of bunches, but you wanna squeeze it a whole bunch because you are looking for it to be nice and dry. So just squeeze and squeeze, and you see how water just continues to come out, then you know you haven't squeezed enough. You want to squeeze it until it runs dry and you can't get any more water out of the bunch. Yes, it's a whole lot of times. And then there we go. This is looking really good. So once it's nice and dry, it'll look something like this. Then you're just going to place it in your bowl. So once you've squeezed out all of your spinach, you see it's nice and dry. This is what it should look like. Then you're just gonna come in here and just break up all these clumps because you want the leaves nice and loose. And then I just take my fork and I kind of just break it all up, making sure my spinach leaves are not clumped up. So now I'm just gonna set this spinach aside, and I'm gonna bring over a medium-sized bowl because I am going to grab my feta and I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna crumble it up into this bowl. So now my feta is nice and crumbled up, and I'm gonna set it aside. So now I'm going to grab my other bowl and 8 large eggs, and I'm going to beat them really well. So now I'm just going to set this aside for a minute. I'm going to bring over my spinach bowl, and then to the spinach bowl, I'm going to add that beautiful crumbled feta. And then right on top of that, I'm going to also add our shredded Parmesan cheese. Yes, there's a lot of cheese in this recipe, but it's very, very yummy. Lots of cheese. And now I'm just going to use my fork. I'm just going to gently bring all of this together. Make sure the spinach is distributed amongst the mounds of cheese. You see how I use the side of my fork to kind of break up the spinach as I go and make sure it's nicely incorporated. So once you have your cheese nicely distributed amongst the spinach, I know it looked like a lot going in, but now that you distribute it, you see it's not a crazy amount of cheese. Yes, it's a lot. I'm not going to pretend. It has a lot of cheese, and hence it's super flavorful, but it's nicely distributed, and that way every slice is going to have a nice amount of cheese. And now once that's all in, then you guessed it, I'm going to bring over my eggs, and I'm just going to pour those guys right in. And then just like I did a moment ago, I'm just going to use my fork, and I'm just going to incorporate the eggs into the spinach and cheese mixture, just bringing down all of that spinach and cheese from the sides of the bowl, bringing it into the center, and then just using the side of my serving fork to incorporate the eggs into the spinach and cheese mixture. That's why I love cooking with this trusty serving fork. As you know, I use it in a whole lot of things. In a lot of my videos, I make borreca dough using it. I use it for so many things because honestly, it just works really great. It's just a nice size for your hand, and it scoops up a nice amount of whatever it is you're working with, and it's just absolutely perfect. As I've said many times before in my videos, never be afraid to get in there with your hands. You want to make sure that you have all of the egg incorporated. So it's okay to just have to go in there, make sure there's no like dry cheese at the bottom of the bowl, and that all your egg is nicely incorporated into the mixture. And then of course, wash your hands. I wash my hands a whole bunch of times as I'm recording these videos because I want to make sure they're nice and clean when I start, and then of course every time I use them to mix in any ingredient, I wash them again. So as long as your hands are nice and clean, you can go in there, mix it all up, because there's really nothing like using your hands to get ingredients nicely incorporated. So now we're going to set this aside for just a second, and we're going to bring over our baking dish, and then we're going to give that a nice coating of nonstick cooking spray because we want our slices to come out beautifully when it's time to slice this up. So just make sure you get it all over. And then we're just going to come in with our spinach and cheese mixture. We're just going to bring it over the bowl. And we're going to add that right in. I switched to a spoon at this point, but you could use your serving fork or just grab a nice serving spoon or whatever your favorite spoon is to work with in the kitchen. Just bring this all in. And then using either your fork or a spoon, just spread it out. You just want to make an even layer. And then I switch to the back of my spoon and I just gently flatten it out, because I want this to become a little more compact as it bakes. And so in this particular version, I don't cover it with more cheese. If you've watched my Fritada de Espinaca con queso, the one I make with cheddar and Parmesan, in that version, I actually cover this with another layer of cheese on top, which of course you can do if you wanted to. But for this version, I actually bake this without a layer of cheese on top because it's got plenty of yummy spinach, feta, and parm, and it really doesn't need it. It's so good. And notice I didn't add any salt whatsoever because the feta is salty. And so in my other version, I do add a pinch of salt because I'm using cheddar, which is less salty, but with feta cheese, I don't add any salt at all. So this guy is now ready. So now we're just popping this right into the oven on a center rack. And then we're gonna set a 45-minute timer to allow this to cook. And honestly, this is the hardest part of the recipe. It's just waiting for it to be ready. It's gonna be so absolutely delicious. So now 45 minutes have passed, but what I like to do now is change the oven to broil. And then I'm just gonna hit start and I'm gonna set a 2-minute timer. All you need is about 2 or 3 minutes, and you're gonna help that top brown a little and get a beautiful color, and then it's gonna be perfect. Wow, does this not look gorgeous? And it smells incredible. The feta and parm, the combination of those two cheeses together with that yummy spinach, this is going to be perfect. One of your new favorites. I cannot wait to cut into it. Oh my goodness, it really smells incredible. And it's just perfect. The color is perfect. And wait till you try the inside. The texture is perfect. It's so delicious. So enough with the admiring. It's time to taste this. I can't wait. So first, I like to go in with a knife and I cut this into squares. I actually like to cut it into 18 squares, and it actually makes it easier to then remove the piece when we go to serve it. So now hopefully it'll come out nice and easy. Ooh, look at that golden edge. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Wow. Look at that beautiful piece of Fritada de Espinaca with feta and parm. So gorgeous. We didn't add anything as a binder besides those eggs. That is it. And the cheese itself and the eggs are enough to bring this beauty together. Look at how gorgeous that is. And of course, that corner piece is always my favorite. So crazy good. I cannot wait to break into this. Okay, now for my favorite part of all of my videos. I get to try it. You know what? I am actually going to take a little piece from this side right here because I love that crispy edge. Oh my, it's perfect. It's got the perfect consistency. It stays together beautifully. And that flavor is gonna be amazing with those cheeses that have caramelized. Yummy, yummy. It is so tasty. I can't get enough. It is so absolutely delicious. I'm gonna cut off a little piece of this crusty edge just to show you. I mean, look at how absolutely golden this looks. The bottom caramelizes as it cooks because it, you know, has direct contact with the pan, and it's just so delicious. I have to take another bite. You're gonna love this one. I'm sorry for speaking with my mouth full, but I'm just so excited because it is so crazy delicious. Honestly, the feta cheese, perfect, mixed with the Parmesan. It is so good. No salt, as you saw, added at all, nothing else, just cheese, egg, and spinach. And is this crazy good or what? Oh my goodness. You are going to be a hit when you prepare this for your family, because this is so good, or for yourself or for friends or for whomever. It is so crazy good. This is going to go down as one of your favorite Sally That Girl in the Kitchen recipes. I hope you really enjoy it as much as I do. So how crazy yummy does this fritada look? It is so good, and the smell of that feta and the parm, you can't beat it. It is so savory and so delicious, and you saw, super easy, squeezed out the spinach, combined it with the cheeses, the egg, bake it up, and it's delicious. It sets beautifully. We didn't add any other binders to it, just that beautiful egg to hold it all together. And of course the cheese, so spectacular, so tasty. You're gonna love it, trust me. No, better yet, don't trust me. You're gonna have to try to make this recipe yourself. And of course, if you've enjoyed today's recipe, don't forget to give it a little like, to share it with your friends, to write a sweet comment. I really, really appreciate when you do that, because it really helps my channel grow. So to those of you who watch me all of the time, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. And of course, thank you for sharing my channel with your friends. It really means the world to me, so thank you so much for that. And if you're not already following me on social media, don't forget that you can follow me as Sally That Girl in the Kitchen on Facebook, Instagram, and on Pinterest. And you can find me as Sally That Girl FL on Twitter, Snapchat, and on TikTok. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Sally That Girl in the Kitchen.